When I saw that Saitama and Tatsumaki were going to actually fight in the manga, I assumed it was going to be hilarious, but the more that I'm reading this, you know what this is actually making me think of? And I swear to God, this isn't an insult. This is just the thing that popped up into my brain. This fight is reminding me of like the Family Guy Peter giant chicken fight. Like, do you guys know what I'm saying? Just think about the two together because it's the same like style of humor where it would cut to something completely unrelated and then all of a sudden these two characters would just barrel in and destroy everything and then just continue fighting into another area which leads to another area which leads to another area and it just continues the cycle like that. I don't know, man. That's just the thing that popped into my mind, and I swear that's not an insult. I'm not saying anything bad. Family Guy did used to be funny back in like the first 2 or 3 seasons. Okay, so that's just where my mind went. This is fantastic, man. This brings joy to my day. I was very excited to read this today. I was gonna read it last night, but I figured after I was done reading it, I would want to make a review right away, and it was too late last night. I was like, I'm not doing it. So this is my first thing that I did today after getting my coffee, and I was very, very excited about it. Yeah, Saitama versus Tatsumaki still in full effect. This chapter basically just proves once again that one Punch Man can still be like the funniest thing that I am currently reading. Like no matter what, no matter how serious, how intense, how gigantic the battles get at particular times, it never fails to make me laugh. And I could see how some people would find this chapter maybe a little bit annoying because a lot of various pages are spent to characters that are not important whatsoever while this gigantic battle is happening. But to me, this chapter again just encapsulates what I love about One Punch Man and just how I find so much joy in it. There's not a lot of things in life that bring me joy. And so I like reading a chapter like this. But there are some things going on that are also probably going to play a part in the plot moving forward, not the least of which is Fubuki kind of disbanding all of her crew and disbanding all of her men, which is kind of what Tatsumaki wanted her to do to begin with. And you're kind of wondering whether it's Fubuki kind of making these decisions herself, whether she's seeing the error because she was betrayed in some way, or if she is just kind of complying with Tatsumaki in some way. But at the end of the day, she decided to disband them. As my big titty goth GF stands here like a goddess. But I gotta say, you know, listen. One Punch Man makes me question a lot of things, all right? And I've already decided, I've committed that Fubuki is best girl, all right? I'm already committed to that. But then I see how the hips don't lie when it comes to Tatsumaki. And I don't know if I should appreciate one for this or just be frustrated that I'm constantly switching between the two. Can a man have both? Anyways, a large chunk of this chapter is spent setting up a joke where we cut to this hero named Feather. I don't remember him at all, but he was probably in the manga before. And he's lying there beaten and broken, and this whole gang of people were like, we tricked you, we said we had a hostage, we said we had your woman, but she's actually on our side. And of course she comes out saying that she betrayed him and everything, and it's this big... This is why it's so funny, is like it's this big revelation emotional twist moment that we just happen to like walk in on at the worst possible time. We have no setup for this, no build up for this whatsoever. We're just here, but I feel for the man. I do. You know what? I feel for the man. I understand. Well, in an outside context, I've never been like surrounded by a group of thugs after I've, you know, been lured into a establishment of anyways, what were we talking about? Yeah, so Saitama just bursts through the wall and screws up everything. And they're like, what's going on? They look up and they see Tatsumaki. And of course, the number 2 hero in the entire world just shows up out of nowhere to your evil organization. Probably not the best thing for you. And I love that after that, Saitama and Tatsumaki again start fighting and start flying in another direction. And then, you know, he's kind of left to pick up the pieces. And he's left there with the woman that betrayed him. It's like, now we can start over. I don't know, bro. Like, I thought it was hilarious. Like, I don't know how other people are going to feel about it because it does take up like 6 full pages, but I enjoyed it. But what I enjoyed even more was the next bit. So next it cuts to this city that is just being attacked by this dragon level monster that comes out of nowhere, this giant rat thing, which to me it kind of looks like Anguirus from Godzilla, if you know what that means. And the only hero who is close enough to face this threat is Metal Bat. And though I haven't really missed Metal Bat that much, I missed him a little bit. It was nice to see him. And I liked how he was frustrated because he wanted to stay home because his cat was going to have kittens. And I just never related to something more. My cat's a boy, but I could imagine that if I had a girl cat and she was going to have kittens, the last thing I would ever want to do is have to go fight some giant monster while she's giving birth. That's just frustrating. And again, it's the same kind of premise as the previous joke where it sets up something very big. This big, intense, horrible thing is going to happen. Metal Bat has to go there. He has to face it alone. He's by himself. There's a giant kaiju just attacking the city. What is he going to do? And then out of nowhere, Tatsumaki and Saitama just fly through the whole monster's face, just breaking his skull open, brains flying out, and the threat is defeated. All the while, Tatsumaki is getting more and more frustrated, obviously so, because every attack that she throws at Saitama, as much as she's throwing him around into different buildings, through different cities, across barren landscapes, he's experiencing no damage whatsoever. So this is a very frustrating thing, not to mention that she sees him as having an attachment to Fubuki in some way, and so she's got that older sister, like, protective kind of mindset going on as well. At the same time, she is discovering who she thought was, pretty much just a loser, a buffoon, just a Cape Baldy, is turning out to be somebody that might actually be on her level, which is frustrating the crap out of her. Like, there's no way she's going to be able to tolerate that, and so the fight continues. And that's this chapter. It's very simple. It's to the point. It's a couple of jokes, but it's a lot of fun. And I think that if you saw this all as one, like, say you read the last 3 chapters along with this one, along with probably the next 3, and you read that all in one burst, I think this would be really, really funny. It also reminds me of when Saitama was first fighting Garo, and, they would go, like, crash into something, and Garo would inadvertently wind up saving people, and people would praise him. It's just sort of the same thing of, like, the effect that these giant powered characters have on the world around them, like, from an outside perspective. Like, we see what's going on with the fight, but then if you are just a regular person or even just a hero, just, like, doing your own thing, and then, the top strongest people in the world just decide to break through the wall, well, that's just something that happens in this world. But one thing we didn't see was the new antagonists that were introduced. They did wind up escaping in the last chapter, and they are nowhere to be seen in this chapter, so we probably won't see them again, I imagine, until this entire battle sequence is resolved in its own way. Then we'll probably cut back to them, or they'll attack again, or try to abduct Psychos again, or maybe just go straight for Fubuki or somebody like that. I don't know. But other than that, I really enjoyed this chapter. I thought it was a lot of fun. I am missing some of the other characters that we haven't seen in a while, like Genos, but I think that this is going to be a lot of fun. I think this is going to go on probably for 3 or 4 more chapters, and I think it's going to be a really fun, enjoyable ride. So I'm just, I'm going with it. I'm just kind of along for the ride just to see what happens. But anyways, guys, let me know what you guys thought about this chapter, One Punch Man 180, as the battle continues. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you want to see more of the fight itself? Did you enjoy the cutaway joke bits? Or were you just kind of indifferent? I don't know. Let me know down below in the comments. Also, please like the video if you enjoyed it. It does really help me out, and it does help the video and the algorithm, so I'd appreciate it if you did so. And if you just so happen to want to support the channel on that deeper level, I do have a Patreon, channel memberships, merch store, and various social media links where you can follow me down below. Other than that, guys, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll talk to you next time.